Hey everybody, it's Jake, and before we get to the show, I just wanted to get to a charitable endeavor I am undergoing right now. It'll take place in a couple months in January. I'm going to be running a half marathon around the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and I'm doing that to raise money for the TMF Foundation. That's the McCourt Foundation, and they raise money to fight neurological diseases like Alzheimer's and MS. I have a couple of friends that are dealing with MS through their entire adult lives, and I am certainly running for them. And as I started fundraising, I found out that I have another friend's mom who actually was dealing with a neurological disease before she passed away a couple of years ago. And so, that's really the reason I'm doing this. I kind of stumbled on to the fundraiser side of this. I was doing these runs anyway, and I'm like, well, I might as well try to raise some money. And then you end up learning new things about your friends and loved ones that you didn't know before. And now I can put forth a little bit of effort just to make a little impact in something that could maybe help them or help someone else that's been afflicted by one of these conditions over the years. So that's why I'm doing it. I want to thank you for your support. You can look in the show notes for the link. I think the preloaded donations are something like $25, but honestly, we don't need that. Even if you just want to give us the $2 you were going to give the What's Bruin show anyway.
$2.
That's perfectly fine for me. I thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to running in this event. And now let's start the What's Bruin show.
Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Ogden, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show.
Hey Bruin fans, this is David Singleton, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show. Go Bruins.
Hey, this is Wayne Cook, and you're listening to What's Bruin Show.
Hey guys, it's Chris Johnson, UCLA national champion. I need y'all to listen to the What's Bruin Show. These dudes are off the hook.
This is Maurice Jones-Drew, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show network, with your hosts, Jake Berryfield and Mike Regalado, and occasionally some friends, talking all things UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
Well, hello and welcome to What's Bruin. I am your host, Jake Merrifield, and in a few minutes I'm going to play something from Mike, but he is remote right now. The original plan was we were supposed to broadcast live from Westwood, as I was going to go to a UCLA game with him in attendance. But instead, I had to go to a funeral today for a relative. Rest in peace, Nathan Cass. Love you, man. But that delayed me more than I thought it was going to, and which is just fine. But the facts are the facts, and so I couldn't make it out to Westwood today. So Mike sent me a recording that he did, which will come up later in the show. I also did a segment of the phone calls for tonight. We got some good calls coming out of the Indiana game. Thank you, Mike and Mike and Dez. Yeah, so those are calls coming up. So thank you very much. And, we'll just go from there. So thank you for joining What's Bruin Show. It's a little weird bit of a weird show tonight, and we apologize for that, but, no helping it. At What's Bruin Show on Twitter, what'sbruinshow@gmail.com, what'sbruin.substack.com, patreon.com/what'sbruinshow, or what'sbruinshow.com, if I didn't already say that. And on YouTube, search What's Bruin Show and look for the UCLA-related stuff, Screw Boston. And, of course, it's also World Series night. Dodgers just lost to Toronto after the most epic of all epic games on Monday night. That I don't know how late you guys stayed up. I made it to the 16th, fell asleep, woke up at 2 in the morning, looked up Freddie's home run, and then, celebrated it like 5 in the morning when I took Malcolm to football practice. But we're right in the middle of the World Series, tied 2-2 right now. Hopefully the Dodgers can pull it out and beat our Canadian friends to the north. So, anyways, with that being said, we're going to hop right into it. When I was supposed to go to Westwood, one thing that me and Mike were going to coordinate was our UCLA shirts from Johnny O. And once again, thank you to Johnny O for sending us a nice love package, care package. And, of course, go to the show link that's in the show notes and get yourself some of these really cool clothes. I can't tell you how much I like the T-shirt I got. I already wore the polo. It's rad. And then I have this jogging shirt that I've been using as well. But wonderful clothes. And the founder of Johnny O, John O'Donnell, is a UCLA grad, so support their product, right? Thank you so much once again to Johnny O. If you didn't listen to the postgame cast for the Indiana game, it was very short. I was inspired to just do a short little song, and I don't know if any of you listened to it or not, but I'd appreciate your feedback if you had it. It was kind of janky. The whole point of it was to do it really fast, so I wasn't spending a lot of time on a game that was a total whatever game. But I had fun with it, so hopefully you did too. But anyway, that's the last show before this one. And we'll see next time the Bruins play. Maybe we'll get a proper postgame out of it. I guess it depends on how they play. It's just that kind of year. But with that being said, let's get to your calls on the hotline, 805-399-4WBS. Let's send it to Des.
Well, that was a country mile ass whooping, but it was expected. I mean, we all thought the Bruins would lose, just not in that fashion. Here's what it is. My hope is, because the way the offensive line just got bulldozed for the majority of that game, not being able to, effectively run the ball till almost the end of the game. Whoever the new coach is, which they must have somebody because we're getting and keeping recruits. They truly demolished both sides of the ball on the line and found guys who can actually do the work, because it's insane how bad that is. Anyway, go Bruins.
Des, number one, I wouldn't get too upset about the line play in this one when you're talking about Indiana and how well coached of a team that is. It's like they went up against the number 2 team in the country, and it's a legit number 2 team in the country. We just saw them stand up to, 3 not great Big Ten teams, but Penn State was not a terrible team on the lines, right? And they played just fine against them. So, they did have a bad game, but this team can play well in the interior on both lines when maybe they're not facing the best team in America, So that probably shouldn't be the gold standard. They're probably not as good as they looked against Michigan State, but they're certainly not as bad as they looked against Indiana, and they're certainly not as bad as they looked against stupid ass New Mexico. So just put the pause button on that one, and then as far as you're talking about, they might have something figured out with the coach because they're still recruiting. I wouldn't read too much into that at this point either. These staffs are going to recruit no matter what, and then the sad thing is that they might recruit, and then wherever they end up next year might be where these recruits kind of end up, and that's the kind of landscape in the world we're kind of living with. So don't read too much into any of that at this point in time yet. But, you heard my post game. One game, Indiana, they're really good. We knew, maybe we didn't know it was going to be this bad, but, whatever, man.
What's up, guys? It's Mike.
I'm Mike.
From Jersey.
Little Mike.
As requested, I got Mike to get on the call this week. Not much to say about this game. I kind of expected this to happen. Last week I said if Coach Skipper gets these guys to play against this team, it'd be crazy to not have him on an interview. I don't think there was any way that they could even compete with this team. They dominated on the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. UCLA was barely able to get any pass rush. We got beat up by a better team. There's no other way to put it. Interesting. I'm interested to see how they recover and how they play next week against Nebraska. That's it. That's a must win. You got to win that game. That's all I got. It was a miserable game to sit and watch through. So I'm just glad it's over. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I mean, was it unexpected for them to lose by 50? I feel like it wasn't because, I feel like it kind of was, but I feel like we all expected them to lose because it's Indiana. I mean, we were probably arguably the hottest team in the country going into this week, but it doesn't matter when you're facing the possible national champion. It just doesn't. I mean, 1-11 for first downs. The punter had more yards than Inamaleva.
Iamaleava.
I think. Yeah, 195 compared to Inamaleva is what? How many passing yards did he have?
I doubt it was 195.
Iamaleava.
But honestly,
Kurt Signetti's the man.
he is. Who knows? Hoosiers could win a championship. Kirk Signetty is the man. Four's up, I guess. Go Bruins.
Four's up. Basketball season soon. We got an exhibition game this week.
Forward to.
So, see
No
you guys.
more pain.
I would like to avoid the basketball shows for as long as possible.
Very glad to have both mics back by popular demand. So good job, guys. And I mean, what are you going to say? Whatever.
Hey, what's Bruin Show? It is Mike from Santa Clarita. I'm calling a few hours after the Indiana game. Hey, I'm not mad at all about this game. It essentially played out exactly how I think realistically we all thought it was going to play out. But I will say I think, and I put this on the What's Bruin Show Slack channel, I think this is a perfect example of what UCLA can look at and say, hey, a basketball school can also be a football school. Not either or, not, you got to choose one or the other. But no, we could be both. We could do both. We could be a basketball school and a football school and succeed and honestly thrive. So I hope we look at this and go, all right, we are looking for a new head coach. Appreciate all that the interim staff is doing. But if you invest in both staff and resources, and that does include NIL, this is what you can become. In year 2, you can be the number 2 team in the nation. Look, Spinetti is a unicorn. He came from James Madison, and, when you've got a, group of 5 school transfer over to a Power 5, then yeah, they got a diamond in the rough for sure. But it can happen and it can be done. Who that is going to be for UCLA next year, I don't know, but it can happen. And so I hope today was more of a blueprint and an encouragement of, hey, it's possible. You have one of the worst programs in college football history, and that's Indiana. And look at them now. So not mad. Glad we made it out of today relatively injury-free. And, hope we get a little bit more healthy and ready for the final 4 games of the year. I think it's 4. Tough slate: Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, SC. Got to get 3 more to be bowl eligible. Got to get 2 more to match last year's record. But hey, today is nothing to be ashamed of. But yeah, I'm just hopeful more than anything else that, we can take today and use it as what could be. So anyway, go Bruins. Appreciate all that you guys do. And, yeah.
Great timing, Mike. He hit the 3-minute buzzer just like that. They really have good timing up there in Santa Clarita. So that was excellent. The only thing I really want to say in response to that is, with Signetti, everybody's referring to him as a unicorn, and I totally get exactly what Mike's saying, and I completely agree with Mike. Like, there's no reason why UCLA can't be good at both. And the only thing I'm thinking about Signetti is, it is absolutely a template, but it doesn't have to be Indiana with Signetti to quote unquote work out, right? Like, the Bruins hired Chip Kelly, and this is what we thought they would be. That's the ceiling that we thought. We thought it would be transformed into what Indiana has going right now. It didn't work out that way, obviously, but that's what we thought. And that was hiring, arguably the best hire they have made in, years or in their history, really. It didn't turn out that way, but it was a really good hire at the time. And you could say the same thing about the Lincoln Riley hire over at SC. Like, that's how it was supposed to work out. So just because the Signetti hire, which nobody thought it would work out this good, is working out this good, doesn't mean that's the only, that's not going to be the measure of success. That's not the bar. I mean, if UCLA gets back to where they have been historically with whatever coach they hire, that'd be perfectly fine. And then some years they're better and some years they're worse, but just this level that has been at for 20 years, pretty much with the little, break in the Mora era, those 3-4 years, that's what everybody's dissatisfied with, and that's why it's been a gradual erosion of the program. But that's still, while I'll maintain that there's 50 guys that could do the job. You need someone who wants to be here, someone who cares, and someone who is motivated, and someone who's done it on some level before. And I think those are the requirements. There's a lot of guys out there that are like that. And it doesn't have to work out that you're the number 2 team in the country, maybe the best team in the country by year 2 for it to work out like that. It'd be great if it did, but that's not the bar that we're setting, right? I mean, that's not really what we're looking for. That would just be the gravy on top. So thanks to everybody that called, and let's get to what Mike had to say.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's my turn. This is Mike Regalato coming to you live from UCLA, as I'm here to cover the UCLA exhibition later today. And Jake was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it due to unforeseen circumstances. But hopefully he's doing. He's having a Mike sandwich. Know what I'm saying? Starting off the pod and then ending it. All right, you all have dirty minds. So yeah, basketball season is starting. The men are having an exhibition against UC Irvine tonight. I'm going to be there. And the women officially start their season on Monday in 6 days, November 2nd. I want to say November 3rd. So the busy month of November is almost here, and us press people, us in the media, hate it because, especially if you cover both and now 3 teams, football, men's basketball, and women's basketball, it is exhausting. So yes, I expect a very moody Mike for the majority of November. Although I always say that the clearest days in Los Angeles are in November, and they bring about beautiful days. Very clear, very clear. But yeah, so I'm here really quickly to give my thoughts on the UCLA football team and their loss to Indiana, 56-6. Now, was this an absolute drubbing? Absolutely. Was this embarrassing? Definitely. Did this put UCLA back? Most definitely. Most likely. And yeah, but I just want to say on top of that, a lot of Indiana people in my mentions, and a lot of them a little ballsy considering they just got a football team. I'm just saying. No, I put out a tweet which wasn't even very inflammatory. All it said was UCLA is about to do the craziest thing, aren't they, in college football? And yeah, all these Indiana fans jumped on that one. But hey, let's let them have it. They haven't had football in ever. So congrats to them. But yeah, let's talk about the Indiana football team just going to town on UCLA. 56-6. And yes, this has been written and people have talked about this, but yeah, the tone was set 2 plays in as Nico Iamaleava threw an interception for a pick 6, getting Indiana on the board early. And it was weird. I thought, it's the first drive of the game. If it was Indiana's first possession, they would have scored. So, hey, it's kind of like, okay, UCLA starts off proper. Here we go. And I wasn't too worried about it because UCLA has actually started slow in the last 2 games, but, they pulled it out. And, good coffee. Good coffee at the Kirchhoff Coffee House. UCLA could have had a better performance, but they looked exactly like who they were in the first 4 losses, and yeah, it did not look good, especially since they just looked exactly like they did in the first 4 games. Defense couldn't do anything. The offense had much trouble getting down the field. But yes, as many Indiana fans pointed out, and Bruin fans too, it could be that Indiana is a really good team. And yeah, no kidding, they absolutely are. And they deserve all the accolades for and all the love for getting another win. What are they, 7-0 now, 8-0? I don't know. They're just a very good football team, and they're going to go to the college football playoffs. But yeah, let's hope UCLA can have that kind of magic with whoever their next coach is. But in regards to the game itself, Indiana totally dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. They were able to get at Nico Iamaleava several times. The offensive line just reverted back to its old bad self. UCLA could do nothing against Indiana's defense. Yeah, obviously they got down the field a few times and kicked a couple of field goals, but that's because Mateen Bagani is the team's MVP. And yeah, it just looked as if UCLA could do absolutely nothing. Indiana knew exactly what to do, and UCLA had no answer. no creativity for all the accolades, for all the love. I keep saying accolades, for all the love that Jerry Neuheisel got, and rightly so in those wins. It's clear that he still has a little bit of a ways to go, as the play calling was just not there. I mean, even after that, it seemed like that failed fake punt, which was good. They almost had it. It seemed like there was just no other creativity, no way to get Indiana off their toes. It's like they were trying to run a play, and that play would get instantly stuffed. On defense, UCLA's defense actually was not bad for long stretches. It's just that Indiana's offense is freaking good. Fernando Mendoza is an absolute baller, and Cal transfer goes over to Indiana, and it's just perfect for Cignetti's offense. He just cut up UCLA. Their ground game was just insane. What do they have here? 262 yards rushing. Not great. 213 passing, which is about where UCLA is. UCLA has actually been pretty decent in the pass defense, but they just couldn't stop the run. They just got pounded up the middle, and just couldn't stop this unstoppable force. UCLA is definitely not an immovable object. They got moved around a lot on both sides, and that's it. That was UCLA in this game against Indiana. Go 4 and out, maybe go another 10 yards, but they would only have a few plays and give it back to Indiana. Indiana scores, gives it back to UCLA. UCLA struggles, gives it back to Indiana. Indiana goes downfield, they score. Basically a broken record. Or the hottest beat that you can find if you're an Indiana fan, because that rhythm to a game is probably something that you were probably all about, as a lot of them let me know on my Twitter. No, I'm just kidding. They're good people. Northwestern fans are better. Anyway, I'm just kidding, y'all. I love everybody. So this football team, just absolutely, oh man, just horrible. They stunk it up, and Tim Skipper, pretty much said the same thing in his presser about. There was just I'm paraphrasing, but he said there wasn't that strain, there wasn't that extra effort that they saw in the first in the 3 wins. But whatever, it is what it is. And I'm going to pause this because we have a helicopter coming in, and that gets annoying because we are at UCLA, which has one of the finest hospitals on the planet. Okay, so that is much better. Yeah, the helicopter noise has died down. Only a 2-minute delay, but that's fine. So UCLA is now 3-5, and 3-2 in conference. Honestly, I still didn't expect them to be over 500 in conference after the 4 losses. But hey, it was a good 3-week stretch. But it's going to be interesting to see how the team bounces back. And just really quickly, just to interject, just the loss and the way they lost might have put Tim Skipper out of contention for the head coaching job, because there wasn't UCLA cannot have that going forward. But hey, it was a tough game against Indiana anyway, so let's see what they do against the rest of the schedule, which UCLA football is on a bye this week, but on November 8th they welcome Nebraska to the Rose Bowl, and a week after that, that's the big one, at Ohio State on November 15th. Following that, you have Washington, November 22nd at the Rose Bowl, and then UCLA is going across town to the Coliseum to face USC, who's having a pretty decent year. That's on November 29th. So November crunch time, we're going to see what this team is made of, and yeah, it's I don't want to get too much into Nebraska yet, just because we did learn a lot about UCLA this weekend, and it's just that they're not ready. You really can't expect. Although we were hoping, we were joyous and gleeful the fact that UCLA was able to, pull out 3 wins amid turmoil and chaos, death, and destruction after 4 games. So, so can they bounce back against Nebraska? Now, Nebraska's been spotty. They actually have been pretty good, but they're also a team that has been up and down. Ohio State, that's going to be rough. And Washington, still a good team, better than UCLA at this point. And then you have USC. Now, UCLA at the very minimum, they could still get a bowl game, but they need to win 3 games. They have 4 games left. It's not going to be Ohio State, so it has to be Nebraska, Washington, and USC. Quite possible that could happen, especially USC, despite the fact how good they are, because UCLA still does have some good players. It's just it's not all coming together. It's kind of like fine china that's been cracked, and you're trying to keep it together, with your hands, while your parents are getting the super glue to try to glue it back together. An analogy doesn't make any sense at all, but it kind of does in my head. This coffee is really good. I'm buzzing hard. Anyway, so it's gonna, as I say quite a bit, it's gonna be interesting to see what UCLA does, how they make changes, if any, and basically, what players step up. Nico was just not himself, but how can you be with guys like all up in your face? Every play. But, the guys need to step up. They need to figure out what they want to do, how they want to make this year a good year to finish off, pretty strongly, especially Nico. I haven't checked any mock drafts, but I don't know where he is, if he's intending to go to the NFL draft or if he's thinking about staying for one more year. It could be cool if you have Nico, but hey, people are going to make their decisions based on what they need. God, this coffee's like crack. So that's that's my quick recap on the UCLA football, their loss to Indiana. If you heard Jake's post game, it was a banger. So go check that out if you haven't. So that's where we are here. Now, quick notes on UCLA basketball. The men's team, I'm gonna see them tonight. I'm gonna see them with my own eyes, because you can only imagine so much over the radio or reading articles, especially on Bruin Report Online. So tonight we are going to get some proper eyeballs, as well as everybody else getting their first glance of the basketball team and Donovan Dent and how they all work together. But the women's team, that's going to be interesting. They have so far they have 2 players that are up for preseason that are preseason award watch list selections, as well as the men's team has 1 so far. Donovan Dent is up for the Point Guard of the Year award. Kiki Rice up for the Point Guard of the Year award. Not up for the award, sorry. They were preseason selections. And then today it came out that Jana Neekins, the transfer from Utah, she is up. She I keep saying that. She is a preseason selection for the Shooting Guard of the Year award. And I expect obviously Lauren Betts is going to get that. We're going to see if Eric Daly Jr. is going to be on the preseason award watch list for power forward. And so that's all happening this week. But as for the women's team, very powerful. Still worried about chemistry, but they have the core of their team. 4 starters return: Rice, Betts, Angela Dugalich, Gabriela Jaquez, and Tamia Gardner. There's also Amanda Muse, who redshirted last year, but they also have some pretty good talent coming in as well. Sienna Betts, Lauren's younger sister, number 2 player in the nation last year in high school. Lena Bilic, who was the number 1 Euro player a year ago, as well as Karamuzzi, who's haven't had that much information on her, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how she fits into the mold. But then you also have Megan Grant from UCLA softball, joining the team. So yeah, this should be a fun season. I'm working on my season preview, which should be out either later this week or at the beginning of next week. But either way, yeah, that'll be out on Bruin Report Online. So check that out. So anyway, well, I guess that's all I have for now. Yeah, short and sweet, but yeah, as I said, it's busy time, and wasn't able to talk with Jake, and obviously we go back and forth with that and pick out things that we normally don't catch from the others watching of the games. So next week we'll be back to preview the Nebraska game. Yeah, go Bruins.
So thank you once again, Mike, for doing that. Sorry I couldn't get out to Westwood, as we said, but as I'll talk about in a minute, I was detained and unable to get out there. But, Mike just gave you his rundown of the Indiana game. My post-game was basically just a song. So really, though, it expressed exactly how I feel. Nothing that happened in the Indiana game, in my opinion, should inform anything about how you feel about the Bruins this season. They went up against legitimately one of the best teams in the country. I don't think there's any question about that. And I talked about it with Dez's call as well. When you're looking at this team, they started 0-4, perhaps 4 of the worst losses in school history, certainly perhaps the worst start in school history. And then they rolled off 3 wins in a row, one of them being against a top 10 opponent at the time. Now, it turns out that top 10 opponent ended up spiraling and firing their coach. But still, that was a big win. And you shouldn't put too much into this Indiana loss. Indiana's really good. And the one thing the bone I'll pick with Mike and what he said was, he said that Skipper kind of took himself out of consideration for the UCLA job with this loss. No, in my opinion, he was never in consideration for the job at this point. And that's what I've been trying to express to everybody about this. He's not in contention for this job until this season is a finished product and we see exactly where they land. Now, if he manages to make a bowl game and look really good against Ohio State, do you think he's going to be considered for the job? You're goddamn right he will be. We're not there yet. It's completely unfinished. And just because he had that 3-game winning streak doesn't mean that he's in contention for the job. And just because he got murdered at Indiana doesn't mean he's not in contention for the job. It's a incomplete right now. And that's the way I think we should all look at it as fans. And whatever they do as the coach, and I think I addressed this earlier with the call, it's still all up in the air and up in the cloud. But this coaching staff, considering the last coach they hired and considering the administration before that, they can't afford to just continue the same old thing, even if it's looking good like we thought it was before this Indiana game, right? There has to be a dramatic, it already was a dramatic improvement, don't get me wrong. 3-0 from the 0-4, that was dramatic. But it's got to be dramatic in relation to the rest of the conference. And that would be finishing with 6 wins and at the very least having a very competitive game against either Indiana or Ohio State. And they already failed one of those tests. So they make it to the bowl game. It's going to be a great story. And we think that Skipper should be the skipper somewhere, but not here unless there's some sort of another inconceivable sort of result. The first one being the Penn State game. But now it's a lot more conceivable than it was when it happened, right? So whatever, we'll leave that alone. Hopefully Mike had some fun at the basketball game that's going on right now. I watched the Dodgers lose, and now I'm getting ready to go to bed. But with that being said, let's get to What's Brewing with You.
What's brewing with you? You ask me. What's brewing with me? Yeah. What's brewing with you? What's brewing with me? What's brewing with you?
As for my What's Brewing, what did I do? I did nothing this weekend. It was great. I needed to rest, and I did. Did go to like a Halloween shindig with a friend and dressed up as a mad scientist. I was trying to be the dentist from Little Shop of Horrors, but yeah, nobody sells freaking dentist tunics anywhere. I saw some online, but you can't trust online shopping. I need to make sure it fits. Too big, too small. Yeah. What am I going to do at that point? Yeah, so anyway, just chilled out and this week, another busy week as we come up to Halloween. And this weekend is going to be nuts because my kids have been trying to force Christmas on me. And I told them, no. After Halloween, you give me my spooky season. After Halloween, you can have whatever you want. So apparently November 1st, Christmas starts for the kids and they're busting out all the decorations. So we're going to be busy. So anyway, that's all I got. And back to you, Jake.
All right, thanks, Mike. Well, what's wrong with me is, as I mentioned before, I spent the day out sort of near where I grew up. I was out in Menifee, which used to be Sun City, I think. I haven't been out there in years and years, but it's near Elsinore, which is part of where I grew up. And, of course, I grew up out in Riverside County up until I came to UCLA back when I was 19 or 20. But I was out there for a very sad occasion, and that is the passing of my cousin, Nathan Cass. And Nathan Cass, a great dude. He was a Riverside deputy sheriff. He was a lieutenant on the department. We joined our respective departments in the same year, a few months apart. And then later on, his brother and my cousin, Ethan, would join the Riverside Sheriffs as well. But Nathan passed away a couple weeks ago in a hunting accident up in Idaho. And it struck the family like a lightning bolt. It was an absolutely unexpected and devastating loss. Nathan was a fantastic guy. And going to the funeral today, that was reiterated over and over and over again. And he will be missed sorely. And he was a dude that had 25-ish years of service. He was going to retire in a couple of years as a lieutenant, and just a terrific career. He was a motor cop for a while, and he was a detective for a while, and he was running special units for a while, and just an all-around great career. But he was so much more than that. And every time I saw him, he was just the warmest dude, and I loved him to death. He is survived by his wife, Devin, and their kids, Liam, Miles, and Kylie. And Nathan was just a great dude, and he was a great cop. He was a warm, loving dude, and a real curious dude too. And it's funny, like I knew him, and I spent time with him, and we talked a lot, probably mostly via text over the last number of years. But going to the funeral, it's funny. It was like, in some ways, looking in a mirror. In some ways, it was just seeing what a great guy he became from when we were kids. And that whole family, the Cass family, is just a collection of superstars. In fact, the last time I talked to Nathan was just a month or two ago, and he sent me a picture of the family's Guinness World Record, because they have the most family members to compete collectively in an Ironman. It was 6. And it's just, that's the type of people these guys are. They're all overachievers and just wonderful people. And like I said, superstars, and one of their stars is gone, and it's devastating, but they're such a good family. I know that they will, circle the wagons and be okay, but Nathan will be sorely missed. So I love my Uncle Kenny and my Aunt Jana, and my love goes out to Nathan's siblings and all the rest of my cousins and the other families out there, and Nathan's wife and kids. Rest in peace. Thank you, and good brunch.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Oh my God.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's gotta be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, Rob, we place a ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.